Good evening. Welcome, everybody. How's everybody doing tonight? I'm doing all right. Excited to dive in with some calls. If you're new here, we will be listening to calls from anonymous people for the next 2 hours. Well, we have no idea who's calling, what they're going to talk about. And we just listen. And sometimes people just want to vent. Sometimes they want to confess something. Sometimes they want feedback or thoughts from the chat and me. So it's always a beautiful time. And this is not entertainment. It's not entertaining. This is something much different. This is something good we try to do for the community. There's a Discord now. If you're not in the Discord, you should join us. It's turning into a beautiful place as well. And getting everything fired up, and we will dive in shortly. We have one rule here. If you call tonight, please remain completely anonymous. Please, no names, no locations. It's for your own good, and it's also for the good of anybody who may be implicated by your story. We try to help people feel safe here with anonymity. If you break anonymity, we toast you. Doesn't mean we celebrate you. Although there is a soft spot in our heart for toast. It sounds like this, and we don't love hearing that sound. So please, if you call in tonight, keep it anonymous. We will get your age, and that's about as personal as this gets. Okay, so lines are opening now. They should be ready to go. Hello, thanks for calling.
Hey, Julian, I'd like to talk about a difficult life experience.
All right. Can we start with your age?
Sorry, what was that?
Can we start with your age?
I'm 22 years old.
22. And what brought you to call tonight?
I believe that I've been in a relationship with a narcissist, and of course, like, I'm no psychologist, but I've been trying my best to navigate the situation, and I've been consulting just any resource I can, Google searching, and mostly just listening to YouTube videos of doctors talking about narcissists online. And I'm very careful about, like, confirmation bias, and I don't want to, incorrectly assume anything, but I do think that I've been abused to some extent by this person, gaslighted, and I've been left with, like, a very large emotional load lately, and I feel like my feelings are completely invalidated, and that my reality that I'm facing is real, and I'm really scared for the future, because this person was the person that I trusted the most, and I feel like, after putting all my eggs in that basket, like, I feel like I can't trust anyone, but I've been just lied to over and over and over, and I've tried my best to always maintain the honor of this person, because at the time I felt like I loved her. I care about them so much, and I would do anything for them, and I just really thought that I was safe, but every day I peel back another layer, and I'm realizing that, yeah, in fact, I do believe that I was dealing with a narcissist, and I'm just trying to, just have some kind of healing, just knowing or feeling like I know about it is healing in itself, because I felt like it's my fault, the things that they have done to me they have essentially convinced me that I did to them, when all along, like, it was just on their end. And, you know, I'm just so scared because I also, you know, study with this person at the university, and we were in like a professional environment, and I've actually thought about dropping a really big opportunity to just a great opportunity for my career and everything. And I started volunteering at their place of work in the field that we're in. And, you know, I've been doing that for the past like 7 months now, and I've invested a lot of time. I did it because I wanted to be around her a lot more, but I also did it because I believed in the program, and I had a real soft spot for the program. But that's neither here nor there. I withdrew essentially from this program because I don't want to see them anymore. And, you know, we switched to being friends for a little over a month now. And I've been trying to navigate myself and validate my feelings, and, you know, not really out of a place of insecurity, but I'm trying to get my feet back on the ground, you know, after, you know, being swept off. And I kept asking them if they had left me for someone else, because, you know, the day that she, you know, decided to call things off, she said that, you know, she's just going through a lot in her life right now. Like, there's a lot of things that she doesn't, that she's scared about. And, you know, she gave me all these great reasons, and I talked with her about it for quite a while. And then as I was leaving the car, another guy was calling, and I could see it on the screen, because she has like a fancy smart car or whatever, and his name was ringing. And I just left the car, but I later confronted her about it, and she admitted to talking with him, and she said that everything she said was true. And so, you know, she told me that she loved me. She said that, you know, she sorted all this stuff out, you know, she would, you know, consider it, you know. And I'm not someone who's like, you know, please stay. I'm not really like that. I'm more just, I just appreciate honesty, you know. And then we would keep seeing each other, but every time around like 11 p.m., this guy would keep calling, and it just looked very bad.
Can I interrupt with a question? Because I'm trying to figure out if you're. It sounds like you're not in a relationship with this girl anymore. Is that right? It's the relationship is over.
Not anymore. And I was just trying to understand, like, why it all happened, because, you know, I thought that we were both very happy, you know, and I was just seeking that answer. I was just, you know, is it me? Is it, you know, because I'm always pointing toward the outcome of, you know, it has something to do with me, because if it has something to do with me, then that's something I can hopefully change in the future. Not necessarily for her, but if it's something that's critical, that, you know, she believes I'm incompatible for a relationship for any reason, you know, I should probably fix that, you know. And I was always seeking out those, you know, if it's me, then I'd like to know. But no, it was always something she was dealing with. And
right.
You know, we're not in a relationship anymore, but she has kept lying to me about this person, and she has dug this like huge hole between like the both of us. And, you know, we wanted to be friends. You know, when we started the relationship, we said, well, as long as we don't ruin our friendship, you know, and we have each other in that capacity, then we're fine, because we're both really happy as friends, you know. And sometimes that's really unrealistic, and maybe we were unrealistic, but I just have proof that she has lied to me time and time again, and I feel like played. And I've actually had to apologize for not believing her lie multiple times, which is what brings the biggest red flags to me, because, you know, it just doesn't
right. You're
sound
apologizing.
Like yeah, I'm apologizing for not believing what was a lie all along.
Right.
You know, and the fact of the matter is that if she found someone, you know, I would like her to be happy. If she believes she has a better chance with someone else, like that's totally fine, you know, that's part of the process, and we're very young, so that, you know, that's kind of bound to happen, you know, and I was always very open as far as that was concerned, but just the fact that she likes me as a friend, like, it's just very, doesn't feel good, and I'm realizing now that, you know, she would never ever leave a relationship unless she had someone lined up, you know, because I knew her several years before, and she would, you know, vent to me about her relationship problems with other people. And she even told me the story about how she would go from one, so she was in a relationship with someone else in the past. So she was, you know, committed to someone, and this guy that was a mutual, she found out that he liked her. So she actually started talking to him on the side, and she told me that one day that she was having family dinner with this new guy, the mutual, and she would go straight from his house straight to her boyfriend's house. And that's how things were, you know, and she shared this with me in confidence, and she was like, you know, I'm just so glad that I'm not this person anymore. But then I remember that story, and I'm like, well, I think that happened with me, because the second that you left me, there was someone else calling as if, you know, you were late for something or something, and like, I'm convinced that she just went to go see this guy right after she, you know, left me, you know, and it seems like the whole thing was not real on both of our ends. Like, it was very superficial for them, and they couldn't take the ego blow of, you know, being single for 1 second. Like, they went straight from one thing to another, and she has admitted to seeing this new person, and even told me, like, you know, I thought you were going to be there for me. I don't know what you expect. I don't know where you went. Meanwhile, she's over here telling me that, you know, she has no energy throughout her day, and just texting me is exhausting to her. Not like as an insult to me, but she's telling me, like, my life is really rough and social interaction is really difficult. And
so you guys are still texting?
No, as of you know, as of several days ago, absolutely not. I only kept texting her because I wanted to, because I care about her, you know, and she said she was going through a rough time, and, you know, the way I saw it in my head was, okay, sure, she's talking to this other guy, but that doesn't really, like, affect, you know, she still told me the truth, and she gave me all these, like, good reassurances that, you know, basically it's like, it's a nothing personal, but I'm just not in a place for a relationship right now, and I, you know, and I accepted that. So the thing is it absolutely looks and feels like a big lie, and I see the pattern, and I know she's done this exact same thing with some other people, you know, and I honestly just feel stupid for even, like, entertaining the idea that she was telling the truth, but, you know, I invested so much after the fact, like, so much time and energy, and, like, I'm having so many trust issues, you know, I'm doubting myself even, you know, I go throughout my day and I'm like, am I wrong about all this? Like, is she really a narcissist? Am I just being insecure and insisting that she left me for someone else? When, you know, when I'm calling her, it's clear that she's texting someone because her phone is buzzing, and I can see that she's active on the app that I know she texts this person on. You know, it's just very, like, jarring, you know, and she hears me spilling my feelings about how I'm feeling and, you know, how I withdrew from this program, and she's getting, like, all these texts from this guy, and
well, yeah,
and I just said, like,
I want to touch on a couple things you said about 5 minutes ago. I'm trying to just listen, but I also don't want to get too far from some things you've said, because I can tell in your voice you're really worried and you're confused, and you're having trust issues with people. Is that right?
Yeah, like, my life is, like, upside down now, and I'm holding on to I am resilient, you know, and this isn't the worst thing in my life, but I'm trying my best to manage these professional and personal relationships that I share with this person. And I'm just scared that by doing what's best for myself, I am pushing myself away from other people as well. And I'm very scared that this person that has been lying to me for all this time and like gaslighting me and just completely invalidating everything. And by the way, it's worth noting, she's never once said sorry.
Right.
Every single conversation that I
a narcissist, I mean, not women. Just to be very clear.
Yeah.
Narcissists don't do that.
Bro, yeah.
But I want to ask you a question, though. I was maybe you thought I already asked it, but you mentioned about 5 or 6 minutes ago. No, it's okay. This is your space to share whatever it is you need to share and think out loud and all that good stuff. But you said you've been trying to figure out, it's been driving you nuts, trying to figure out if the whole relationship was fake, if you said you felt stupid because you thought maybe the whole relationship was fake and she was never really into you and she was just playing you. That doesn't sound like the case to me. And a narcissist doesn't, if she is truly a narcissist, she loved you in the only way she could. That's the tragedy of narcissism. It doesn't sound like you got played. It sounds like you were in love with a narcissist, and a narcissist does love, but it's a very shallow love, and it's all they can do. They don't feel empathy. So I wanted to contribute that because I can tell in your voice you're really trying to figure this out. And I think she did love you in the way she could. And that's what narcissists do after a breakup. They very quickly get back into another relationship because they need that narcissistic supply to come from somewhere because, again, their love is so shallow. I'm just regurgitating stuff I've read from books. We're going to talk about a couple books here in a minute, but I want to hear more of your story before we get into that. I'm just letting you know that this is where my head is. And the point is that they move on so quickly after a relationship. A narcissist, again, not women. That was toast. I was trying to lighten the mood here. The point is that they move on so quickly because they need that narcissistic supply to come from somewhere. They need someone to give it to them, and it used to come from you. And now, when you guys broke up, it sounds like she very quickly realized that narcissistic supply was cut off, and she needed it to come from somewhere else. And so she fell back in love in the only way she could, a very shallow love. Maybe that's why it's so easy for them to jump around from relationship to relationship, because it's so shallow for them. But my overall point, and I'm still listening, but I just wanted to add that because I could tell. I don't want you to think you're stupid. You're not stupid. It's just the tragedy of narcissism. I do believe she loved you, but it was probably just very shallow. And that was about 5 or 6 minutes ago that you said that. Now you were, when I interjected that, you were talking about, I'm trying to remember where you were. You were saying that you have stopped texting as of a few days ago, and I think that's good. It sounds like some better boundaries are in order, and I'm glad to hear that you've taken that step. So where were we, and what else would be helpful to get out tonight?
Well, before I continue, I'm just really relieved because I've been putting a lot of time in as far as like my education goes regarding this topic, and all of your terminology, I understood everything that you just said. So I'm very happy about that, because I guess that should mean something, that I'm on the right track to understanding what's been happening with me. So that's, getting more education is very healing for me because I better understand what has happened.
Right. That's empowering. Good for you.
Yeah, thank you so much. Like I'm really trying to just equip myself for the future, but also soothe myself now because, it's pretty obvious why I would need that. But she had a surprise birthday party planned for me with some colleagues that we've been working with within the past year, and we've all drawn really close. And in the middle of this group relationship, there was us, and we never really displayed our affection in that way in front of them. So we always kept it pretty professional, which I'm proud of, but I also feel like she was kind of hiding us in a little bit, so I kind of feel weird about that, but maybe I shouldn't, because again, it's a professional environment. But she, I've been posting like screenshots of songs that I've been listening to regarding my situation. They mostly like revolve around like, and they're Snapchat stories, so they can mean everything or nothing at the same time, but it's just a screenshot
Right.
of what I'm listening to. They're all songs regarding like, you know, cheating in some capacity. But no one really knows about our relationship. Like we always kept it like kind of a secret, you know, we didn't really openly share like, hey guys, we're in a relationship. Like it was never really like that, you know.
Right.
Of course boundaries were met when they needed to be within the confines of what it was, but you know, it was never a public thing really. And she got very mad at me at a certain point because I was not talking with her about what I was feeling. She said, I'm so fucking tired of these meaning like indirect communication towards me. You either tell me what you're thinking or just drop me already. And when I saw that, first of all, she's never talked with me like that before. And I will say, like, I think what I did was petty, regardless of the situation. You know, I'm not saying like I'm free of fault just because I was in a relationship with a narcissist, but in a way, I do think that what I did was kind of childish and petty. But at the same time, I'm letting her know that, I don't know, it was just kind of like this bitter jab, you know. I'm communicating to her like secretly in the back of my mind, I know what's going on. You're not going to tell me, but I know what's going on. So that's why I posted them, and it was actually just to talk to her. So I called her that night that she sends those messages to me, and I apologize for the indirect, and she gets very upset and starts crying, and she starts talking about, you know, the disrespect of posting those things, like running her name through the mud, because, and no one really knew about a relationship, you know, like, if you needed to know about a relationship, it's for a reason, but otherwise, like, we kept it really on the down low, and no one really knew what was going on except her, but she believed that, you know, everyone knew and that her name was being, you know, just tampered with. So I apologized because she was very emotional, and I'm always trying to comfort her. You know, I'm always looking for my part in the problem, so I apologized for that. And I just started pleading with her. I was like, please just let me go. Like, please let me be free. Just tell me what happened. Like, did you leave me for him? And she said no. And I said, well, did you lose feelings? And she said no. And then she started snapping at me, and she was like, everything that I told you, you just don't listen. Every single, you know, interaction we have leads to this, and I'm done. And she started laughing at me. And she said, you know, I'm done. You know, I'm just trying to do what makes me happy, and that just seems like such a problem for people. And she made this like really side remark about making guys sad and all this stuff. And I don't really remember verbatim what that sentence was, but
Right.
she got very mad at me, and I went straight back to box one, which is me getting emotional and realizing how I messed up. And I just kept saying sorry, and she said, I don't trust you. You keep saying that you say that you're not going to bring this up again, but you do, and I don't trust you anymore. You know, you broke my heart, and I'm just, you know, I'm crying on my end, and she's just kind of soaking it all in on the other side. And I'm realizing that this is probably the last time that I'm ever going to talk to her.
Good.
We will have to see each other within the next 2 years because of our studies, but for them, I don't know if we're going to still work in this group setting anymore because the dynamic is really weird, but she got me straight back to apologizing to her. And
of course she did.
And I start to, I love her family. She has separated parents, but I love her mom. I love her little sister that she loves so much. I love, her dad. I think the story between her and her dad is amazing, and I love where they're at now, and I love all of the siblings on that end. And I started asking her about her family because I'm realizing that this is probably the last time that I'm ever going to hear about them,
Right.
And it was like me saying goodbye in my head, because I really enjoy seeing them, and I love being a part of that world. And so I kept asking questions, and she started crying, and she said, "I can't do this. I can't just sit here and talk to you like everything's okay.
Right.
It hurts to talk to you." And
I want to pause you real quick because we do have we try to keep calls here to 30 minutes so we can talk to a few different people each night, and I want to make sure that we it's not that you're oversharing or anything. I just want to make sure that we that this is a good call for you, and that you get to the things that you really want to share in that 30 minutes. I forgot to remind everybody tonight about that new rule about 30 minutes. We're trying to keep the calls to 30 minutes. I want to highlight a couple things from the chat and then turn it back to you to listen a little bit more. But there's also some books I want to recommend, and that I think are really going to be good for you to check out. DW from the chat says, "It sounds like she's acting like she's still in a relationship with you. Tell me what you're thinking." That's in quotes. "Tell me what you're thinking" is a demand you can only really make with romantic partners, in my opinion. And I had that same thought when you were sharing about that a few minutes ago, that she told you to tell her directly what you're thinking. Like, you owe her nothing. You're not in a relationship with her anymore. And I feel like maybe it seems like you still, I can tell you care for her. I can tell this is really hard for you. I can tell it's hard on you. But it seems like maybe you care about a person that doesn't care for you. She's not caring for you. All she's doing is messing with your head and telling you she doesn't trust you. And like, you seem like a really trustworthy guy. You're just sitting here telling us how much you care for this person that was invalidating you and was not the best partner. And you were telling us how wonderful their family is. And of course, a family, being close with a family can make any breakup really difficult, regardless of if the person, if the ex is a narcissist or mentally healthy or not. It makes no difference. If you love the family, that makes it harder. And there was a couple of other things from the chat. What was that? There's so much good stuff in the chat from your calls in particular. I mean, there's always good thoughts from the chat in these calls, but yours in particular, I really hope you go read the chat, because there's a lot of good food for thought in here for you. So in the replay, it takes YouTube a few hours to process the chat replay, but I do put them up on every video. So after a few hours after the stream, you can go back and watch the replay from your call with the chat in real time. And so I won't get bogged down here with the chat since we have only a few minutes left till we're at 30 minutes. And if we go a little bit over, if we need to, I think that's fine. But I do want to reiterate to you, like, you are young, and you are smart, and you're not stupid. You may be learning to identify a healthy relationship, a positive partner figure. You may be learning about your own attachment styles. These are good things to learn. Some people have to learn these lessons the hard way. And, you're not stupid. You will get through this. And I just want to encourage you that you can do this, and keep up your studies, and keep reading about narcissism. Keep looking into the way you feel, and learning to spot red flags might be a really good thing for you. Dr. Ramani Deversala has some really good YouTube videos on how to spot red flags within dating specifically. So you might check that out.
Ramani is my main source. I've been listening to her
she's amazing.
Yeah. She is. Yeah.
Arconianon says learning to respect yourself. Yeah, that may be a thing for you. I don't know. But, you know, I have heard you say some things in this call that are, I can tell you're very empathetic. I can tell you're probably a very strong empath of some kind. You might look into that and see if you can figure out what empathic style you carry. You definitely have some kind of it because you care for this person so much, and they were just curb stomping your soul. And I like you said a moment ago, you said, please, you said you told the girl, why are you doing this to me? Please, will you just please let me go? Will you please just let me go? I think maybe you should learn some new phrases for installing better boundaries, putting up better boundaries. Like, not will you please let me go, but I'm not okay with this. Instead of that, you know, you can just, if somebody's mistreating you, you can say, I am not okay with this. You don't have to be nasty. You can just say, I'm not okay with this. I don't hate you for it, but I'm not okay with what just happened. You can say things like that, and it's much stronger. People treat you the way you teach them to treat you. And I'm not saying that you enabled this unhealthy relationship. I mean, you're young, and again, some people have to learn things the hard way. But I do just want to encourage you that you're not stupid, and you will move on from this girl. It doesn't sound like maybe you fully have yet. I'm assuming since you're familiar with Dr. Romney, you've read her book, Should I Stay or Should I Go? Have you read that?
That's really the next step for me, because I've pretty much gone through a whole YouTube catalog at work. I work 10-hour shifts, and I've just been like binging her videos just to soothe myself. But I will, if it's an audiobook, I will listen to it at work, because I really need it. Otherwise, I will read it.
She does have an audiobook. I'm going to put this link for you in the chat. It sounds like you already know it, but I'll put it in there for everybody to check out the Goodreads. This is Should I Stay or Should I Go by Dr. Romney. And there's another good one, or Should I Go? Sorry if there's typos. There probably are. I'm going fast. There's another great book that's a great second book to read if Should I Stay or Should I Go is valuable for you. It's a book called Psychopath Free. Have you heard of that book?
No, I haven't yet.
This book is amazing. Honestly,
okay.
I'm going to put this in the chat for you too. This book, I mean, I love Dr. Romney. She's a wealth of knowledge, but this book I enjoyed even more, and it goes way more in depth, which is why I think it's a great second book to read after Should I Stay or Should I Go. This is Psychopath Free, and there's actually a online community that evolved out of this book called Psychopath Free. I think it's psychopathfree.com, and it's the author created this online community for people healing from narcissistic partners and whatnot, and it's a beautiful community, and it's all about just moving on after narcissistic abuse. So we've gone a little over. It's okay. Is there anything else that would be? I want to make sure you leave this with some feeling supported and some good food for thought. Of course, the chat has already dropped a bunch of good stuff for you to revisit later. But is there anything else that would be helpful to process out loud or to vent?
Maybe just some like small thoughts to close up the story, because I did leave some open ends. But
okay.
She had planned a surprise birthday party with these colleagues, and we had this conversation at nighttime, and because of the way that the call went, where, she's so hurt, she texted me more in the morning, and she said, I'm still going to see you on your birthday, but you have no idea how hurt I am. I'm going to need time after this, which just feels like she's pushing me away, but she's a narcissist, so I guess I don't really know what that means. But she canceled the party for me with them, but what she didn't know was that I confided in one of the colleagues that she planned it with, and they didn't like how she was treating me. So he went ahead and hosted the party himself, even though it was her idea. And she did have an invitation to come swing by, but he didn't like that I was being punished for trying to validate my own feelings and trying to find my footing in the situation and kind of stand up for myself. So I'm really glad that I have some friends that I think are on my side and I think believe my part of the story, but I'm just having a lot of trust issues in general, and sometimes I feel like sharing too much is wrong, or it could be very bad if I share too much to the wrong person, and I'm very just like, but, you know, I had a great time that day on my birthday, and, you know, I'm happy that didn't, you know, go sideways, but she said she wasn't going to see me anymore, and that's when she canceled with them, and, she said, hey, I don't think I'll be able to see you. I'm sorry, but I hope you get to spend time with people that you care about. And she said, happy birthday. And I was like, do you not care about me anymore? And she said, I never said that. I had a surprise party planned for you. Don't ever say that I don't care about you. I just need to take care of myself right now. And that was the last interaction that we've ever had with each other. And I'm scared for the next time. I don't know, like, what's going to happen then. I feel like I lost a friend and a partner at the same time. And the dynamic with the colleagues is very, like, in ruin because they're in the middle of all this. And I'm afraid that if they have to pick or choose me or her to continue the group, because we did have plans, like, in the fall and in the spring to continue the group, like, I'm afraid that I'll be pushed out or something like that. Like, I don't know what the future holds, and I'm very terrified of it because, you know, I'm definitely not going to get sucked back in. I don't count on falling, you know, victim to this anymore. I don't know, like, maybe we can be professional colleagues with boundaries or very shallow friends, but I know I can't get personal with her anymore.
Right.
And
I'm glad you see that.
I'm just relieved that this wasn't my fault and that it was bound to happen from the start. And I know that sounds weird, but it's just healing knowing that even from the beginning, this was destined to happen. And it kind of leaves out that uncertainty. But
right.
That's pretty much everything. If you have thoughts about, like, the dynamic with the colleagues, like, I'd be willing to hear that. But I think I'm done for the night. I don't want to keep it any longer. So
well, it sounds like you're surrounded by sounds like you're surrounded by good people. Sounds like they get it. It sounds like they see your dilemma. And can you talk with these people openly? Do they support you? Are they good friends?
I talked to one of them about the situation. He does believe that she's a narcissist, and she pulled some narcissistic behavior on us as a group. She stonewalled us, and it was during a very important time for us, and she just robbed that whole day from us, and we felt like shit. We felt terrible, and she basically just didn't get her way with something, and it became everyone's problem. And she was disappointed, but she made it everyone's problem, and she made that situation about her. And, you know, every day I remember things, and so do they, and they see patterns, you know, like, so I'm scared for the future, but I'm also excited because my life doesn't revolve around her, and I can make it so I don't have to see her, you know, like, I can still have a good time at work or stay home safe or, you know, be safe in each classroom that I'm not in with her, you know. I'm looking for the positives right now because I've been looking at the negatives for so long, and I've seen, or I thought I saw the negatives in myself, but it wasn't the case, and I'm just trying to heal. And this conversation has been, you know, one of the most healing things ever so far. And I'm definitely going to look at those books and immediately look at the chat once this call ends. So I just want to, you know, thank you for having this available to, you know, everyone. And I just appreciate it, Julian. Thank you.
Thank you for sharing. I want to leave you with a couple thoughts. I want to encourage you to stand up and empower yourself. Learn to empower yourself in this situation. I know you just got beat up emotionally. You just got walked all over, and that's not a good feeling. It's going to take you time to heal from that. And but this will make you stronger. This experience will make you stronger. Working in the same environment as your ex will make you stronger. Learning to walk that line and make those boundaries clear while remaining civil and not getting nasty, that will make you stronger. I'm glad you have friends around you. Offcore from the chat says to you, a friend does not manipulate your feelings. She does not sound like much of a loss, to be honest. Life makes its own drama. Being professional is the best outcome for sure. And Argonian on again says, narcissists are into aesthetics. I'm into aesthetics. I think everybody's into aesthetics, but I think what Argonian on is saying is that that they're extremely into aesthetics. They go on to say, she is painting a scene to protect her ego, disengage, and that's what I think the same thing. I think it's time to disengage. It's time to let go of your care for her. You don't have to hate her, but like you gotta. It sounds like it's time to let go of those feelings and acknowledge that this is not much of a loss. I agree with Offcore that this does not sound like much of a loss. And maybe that just becomes your mantra for the next little bit. Just remind yourself every time you're in the same room with her, this was not a loss. I'm better off for having gone through it. Don't let this get you down. Don't let this weigh you down. I'm better off for having gone through it. And now I'm wiser and stronger and more patient. And now I know more about myself and what I'm actually looking for in another person. And try to make some small steps to empower yourself and to feel empowered when you're in the same. She's not kryptonite for you. She's not your kryptonite. She is someone you loved that you thought was going to be your everything, and she walked all over you. And that's not a loss. I'd say let it go and learn to slowly learn to empower yourself and to set up good boundaries. Use with effective words, not saying please. There will be a time to say please, to be polite and stuff. But, like, again, just to revisit, like, when setting a boundary, don't say, will you please? Say, make it about yourself. Not will you anything, but I am not okay with that. Or I am not going to talk that way with you. Or I have moved on. Those are, there are powerful ways to set up boundaries that are not nasty. And I want to encourage you to have a mental shift into thinking more that way, especially with this ex. But thank you for calling. I hope this was a good call for you, and you can call again here anytime.
Thank you. Thank you, Julian. Thanks for listening, and thank you, chat. Have a good night.
Good night. It never ceases to amaze me how many people call in here dealing with narcissists. Seems so common now. Hello, thanks for calling.
Hello. Good evening, Julian.
Good evening. Can we start with your age and a brief introduction?
Yeah, I am 27. So my friend recommended me this, so I'm going to talk. And I want to talk about my fear of people. And, I want to give a little background on me. So I'm a drug addict, and I have been since I was 15.
Wow.
13, actually. And when I was experimental drugs, and my dad, who was abusive to me, he was a narcissist. Well, I'll get more into that later. He was very abusive to me growing up, and he would tell us that he's going to kill us if we didn't listen to him. He would, gaslight us and stuff. He was really nice when I was a little kid, but then ever since his dad died and he went to jail for this assault thing, he just changed, and he was on medication for 5 years. He was asleep all the time. And he was way over medicated. And he blamed the government. That was why he was over medicated. When really he just asked for more meds and help, just as much as he could get. And he blamed them. Well, anyway, when I was 13, I started experimenting with drugs. I said, Dad, I smoke pot. He says, yeah, I do too. You want to smoke with me? And we did. And I first said, I'm like, Dad, I don't want to get addicted. He says, it's your choice. And I said, okay, and I'll start from there. And so I started texting these girls So there was this girl I grew up with down the block and I knew her since she was 5. And I grew up with her, and I remember being so scared for my dad yelling in the house that we'd have to wait outside of the apartment, like, oh, I can't go in the house right now because my dad's yelling, and we'd have to, like, dodge him and all that stuff. And I was raised in a 2-bedroom apartment. I lived in apartments my whole fucking life, and I lived in that apartment until I was 19. And I slept on the couch most of the time. I had to sleep on the floor many times because my dad was the only one out of bed and my mom was. My sister slept with my mom, and there was just this shitty couch I slept on for like 9 years. Anyway, so this girl that I knew when I was a kid, she was my friend throughout like school and everything. And my dad fell in love with her. He was romantic, and he used to text her, and he'd tell me, like, we used to have this thing, like, he's senior, I'm junior, so it'd be, like, senior, junior, it's like a little signature on the thing, and he'd, like, bring over, he'd guess the color of her panties and shit, and, like, try to be sexual, and she told him, like, oh, I masturbate about you, and then he, like, so then they kind of, like, really got, like, intimate, and, she used to sit on his chair when he's sitting there with no underwear. We do drugs. We're on pills, taking Klonopin, Xanax. I blacked out, so eventually he went to prison because she told her sister, and I freaked out. I hated her for it. I blamed all women in my life. I completely just got crazy with drugs, and drugs were so available to me at high school. All I got was Adderall every day. I pain medication because of the opiate crisis, and I blacked out for the entire month of December on water Xanax when I was 15. I woke up, and they were like, what day is it? I'm like, the 12th? They're like, no, it's the 1st. You've been blacked out this whole time. And I was like, holy shit. They put me in treatment for about 2 years, and my mom didn't do anything. She never said no to me once. My whole life, and I've craved that discipline for so long. And, she still doesn't say no to me. I can ask, I went on a crack binge recently. I ended up getting like $150 from her because she just can't say no. She feels so guilty for the past that, there's these, and I have evidence towards her for not doing this. Well, anyway, this leads up, I was a complete meth head from the time of 18 to 20. That's all I lived for. That's all I cared about. My friends didn't love me. They didn't care about me. They robbed me many times. We'd steal from each other back and forth. And they just used me because I had a house to smoke drugs at, and my mom was too scared to say no to me. And I said, Mom, please let them stay here because I need to get high. I one time was crawling on the floor trying to get $10 out of her purse, and she wakes up and says, oh, Pat, sorry, I didn't mean to. Anyway, so, anyway.
Wait, did you just drop a name?
No, sorry, I think I did. Can you, get that? Can you?
I didn't catch it. I didn't catch it.
Okay, good. Well, anyway.
But here's the thing. This is being recorded, so, I want to hear.
I don't care, dude. I don't care. I just want to say, dude, please don't stop me.
Is this something that, could implicate somebody in a negative way?
No, this is all about me.
And you're cool.
Yeah,
if I have your consent, we'll keep going.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you, man. So, I was busted. I didn't know what to do, and eventually I got on methadone, and I shouldn't have been on as high of a dose as I was. I was on way too high of a dose for just being a very little sick. And I was sick as hell, and I left because I had no friends, and me and my mom, we said, we got to get out of this place. I robbed a drug dealer, and so, we had to move. So we moved, and we got in this new place, and I had no friends. And, one day, my old friend from middle school came by. I talked to him again, and he stopped talking to me because of my dad. And I'm like, oh, hey, man, it's really good to see you. And, he said, I got a gift for you, man. He said, try this. It's LSD. So I took it, And it changed my life. I had a spiritual experience that changed my life forever. And I woke up the next day and said, Mom, everything's going to be okay. We're going to do this. We're going to get through this. And then the last 7 years of my life have been getting through this. And
the last 7 years of your life have been what? Can you repeat that? I'm sorry. Can you repeat that? No, you're good. The last 7 years of your life have been what?
Just trying to get out of this rut that I got when I was a kid. I've been in therapy for 6 years. One day I just decided, I think I need a therapist. And see, in my life, I believe in God. And I believe that God just carries me through life, and he's trying to show me this. He's trying to show me, trying to teach me a lesson. And it's beautiful. And, I would never give it up. I wouldn't give it up for anything. I love this life, even though I've been through so much pain, just because I believe in God. I love God. And I don't know if I'm a Christian yet. I don't know what that is. But anyway, I am afraid of people, and I want to be in a career that's hard. I want to go to school. I've tried to go to school multiple times throughout this last 7 years. Within the last 3 years. And each time I end up drinking again, or I end up doing kratom again, or I end up, smoking dope. And so, I'm afraid I'm going to do that again, but I'm so afraid of failure. I just got out of treatment, and, this is a different time. I used to just sit on my phone on YouTube, be afraid to go outside, all that. Well, no, fuck that. I've been I realize motivation is something you have to create. You don't just take amphetamines to get motivated. You have to create that. You have to get that drive. So what it is, right. I just fear that I'm going to be a failure forever, that I will never succeed. And whenever I don't do the dishes, I'll even start freaking out that, oh my God, if I don't do these dishes, I'll never do them again, and I'll fail, and I won't go to school, and that fear gives me drive. That fear moves me forward. And now the thing is I'm kind of coming out of my shell. I've been texting this girl, and it's okay. It's not really anything I want to talk about, but, I want to go to AA, but it's like I'm kind of stuck at home alone. My friend's leaving, my dear friend of many years is leaving soon, and I don't know what I'm going to do. I don't know how I'm going to be alone. And, I met him 5 years ago, and he's the best thing in my life. And he cares about me. He wants to know things about me, and I've never had that before. Most people bully me throughout my life. Most people just want to use me to get high. You don't get high. You don't care. He wants to know me for me. God, man, that means a lot. I don't have that. And my dad keeps wanting us to try to get his life. He's called us multiple times. We've exiled him. We've tried with him. He's had 6 years that he was going to be in prison, and he ended up, he's got a lifetime sentence in a group home because he just won't admit that he's committed a crime. Last time we saw him, he's like, I'm still in love with that girl. And that was 5 years after all that happened. And he's just the exact same person. And I'm like, I don't want anything to do with you. If you're a narcissist, fuck off. You know what I mean? You're just an energy vampire. No, I want real people like this friend I have. And I don't know what I'm going to do when he's gone. So I got to go to AA. And I don't really like AA, okay? Because I don't trust the people in AA, and that's kind of a good start to why probably I'm afraid of people. I'll let you talk a bit.
Why do you think it is that you don't trust the people at AA? You don't trust that they really care? You trust that...
Well, it's kind of because of how, I don't know. It's not that I don't trust they care. I'm sure they care. It's that I don't trust them because last time I hung out with people in AA, I met a guy he relapsed. I relapsed with him. You know, you try to meet, you get friends with people in early recovery. First thing you want to do with them, get high on dope. You know, and now granted, like, it doesn't turn out that way. Like, at first you're like, oh, you know, we'll go to meetings together, but it just ends up going that way. And I'm afraid that if I hook up with these people, I'm going to be back on the pipe.
Well, that sounds like some fear of failure talking.
Yeah, and that fear of failure is all I have giving me drive right now. That, like last night, I didn't go to like this thing I had in the morning, and I lost it just because of that. And it was like the smallest thing, and I just couldn't wake up in the morning for it. And I'm like, how am I supposed to have children? How am I supposed to be in a relationship? How am I supposed to? And I just lost it. And honestly, you know, and
Well, you're. I can tell you're in your head about this. I can tell you're really hard on yourself about this.
I have to be, because I'll fail again. Because that's what happens every single time. I have a goal, and it feels like I'm just playing with it, and then life just slips through my fingers like steam.
Right.
And it's back to the drinking half a liter, half a fifth a day. It's back to the, smoking dope in order to go to work, and then passing out for 3 days, and I lose my job again. And my roommate hates me. And it seems to be the same scene every single time. This is like my fourth time trying to get out of mom's house, which I just gravitate towards my mom's house. It's the only place I feel safe, And every time I leave my mom's house, what do? Every night, I call her. Every night. And I call her like she's my fucking girlfriend. Because I only feel safe with her. And, honestly, she's not a parent. She's never parented me. Parenting requires discipline and hard work. And no, she's my mom, but she's not my parent.
I see.
Yeah.
So what is it that you would like to focus on here? Is it the friend?
I don't know, man. I just kind of wanted to vent and just tell you about this. I want people to hear it. I want people to hear this, and my fear of people. I want to be a dental assistant because, one, I like medicine. I think that's cool. Dental is kind of a cool thing. And two, because it's really challenging. If people who I grew up with heard, if I got that, I looked up this old girlfriend, the high school sweetheart I had, and who me and my dad raped, and she's married now with my best friend, and I'm so happy for her. They didn't invite me to the wedding, which really broke my heart, but whatever, they didn't have to. Anyway, I looked up, she's got this huge LinkedIn account, and he's got this LinkedIn account, just drove me nuts. I was like, I want that. Why does my sister have that? Why can she be successful? No, I want that. If I could be a dental assistant and those people figure that out, it'd blow their fucking mind. They would just be like, wow, that guy, no way. And that's what I want. I want to be proud. I want to be proud of myself, and I want other people to be proud of me, because that's something I don't get.
There you go. That sounds like excellent motivation. That sounds like excellent motivation.
My therapist was telling me, well, you should get motivation from the good things. Like, oh, I do the dishes. Oh, dishes are done. You know what I mean? That's your motivation.
Right.
No, my motivation right now just has to be this, because if the dishes done aren't good enough, I've lived in squalor. I've lived in, my house is dirty as fuck. I don't care if the fucking dishes are done, but I want the dishes done because then, people, I can be proud that he did the dishes. And that's why, I guess that's that happy, motivating factor,
Well, maybe you can practice. Maybe you can practice doing both. Maybe, you might be in a season right now where it sounds like you got a lot of hard work to do. You got to get off some drugs, it sounds like. I'm not clear on.
Well, I've been sober now for 2 months.
Okay, good for you. Wow, let's applaud that. That's amazing. Good for you. That is huge. 2 months. Good for you. That is amazing. 2 months.
a lot easier, man, than it was last time and the time before.
That's amazing.
Basically, I was sober for 5 months, and I take antabuse, and that means, like, it's a drug that makes it so you can't drink. If you do, you get very sick. And I stopped taking it because I wanted one drink. Yeah,
right.
It really is that cutthroat. You have that one drink and you're fucked.
Right. Well, sounds like you've got a lot of work to do, and what I was getting at is that maybe that fear is a good motivator too. I just think that fear motivates a lot of people to do a lot of things in everyday life. But I think what your therapist said is maybe a good goal for you to practice at the same time. Like, in other words, using the dishes as an example. Maybe that fear drives you to do the dishes because it sounds like when you were talking about the dishes earlier, you were like, it's because it's not just the dishes. Like, if I don't do the dishes, I fear I'm going to be a failure at much bigger things in life if I can't even do the damn dishes, or however you said it. And I'm wondering what it would look like for you to use that if that's there, and maybe you're in a season where you got a lot of hard work to do, and maybe that fear is a good motivator, but then maybe to practice celebrating when you have done it, when you have done the thing you're trying to do, to love yourself for that. Look yourself in the, if you're alone, if you have nobody else to celebrate you or to pat you on the back, do it to yourself. Look in the mirror at night before you go to bed and say, today you kicked ass. Today you got everything done you needed to do.
Beautiful. That's beautiful. I really like that, man.
And maybe you practice doing both. Maybe you practice doing both for a little while until the second one becomes a little more natural. And maybe as life gets as life gets easier for you, as you begin to see some results, you might find that you don't need the fear motivating you as much. Maybe you look back one day and you're like, wow, I remember a long time ago I was just all about fear, and now I'm able to enjoy what I have, and I'm able to celebrate when I do a good job, and I'm able to be proud of the things I've done. Maybe I'd like to think that's the journey you're on. Oh, we lost the caller. Hope everything's okay, caller. Let's see here. I will try to call back. All right, well, we lost the caller, guys. I'm not sure what happened. Caller, we'll hold here for a minute, just a minute. I have no idea if the caller needed to go. It didn't sound like the caller needed to go. I've seen another couple calls coming in, but I'm going to disregard those just for the next minute. We're going to hang here in case the caller comes back. Maybe they were done. Hope I didn't say anything that pissed them off. I didn't intend to. Didn't seem like we were talking about good things. So we'll hang here for just a minute. Yeah, maybe their phone died. I see that, off-core. Good thought. The phone was ringing when I called it, so I'm not sure. Yeah, maybe we should wait just a minute. I mean, I'd hate to... it did seem like we were getting to the end of the call, but I want to make sure that was a good call for them. They said a friend told them to call in. Oh, they're calling back, it looks like. Is this the same person? Yes, they're calling back. Hey there, did your phone die or something?
Oh, yeah, no, my phone does that. I'll put you on here because it's just easier that way. Yeah, dude, but like I said, the best thing is I know that I just gotta have faith that God's I just gotta keep trying new things and keep following this way because I have faith that God loves me. And actually, I believe God loves me more than anyone else, but that's just my belief. And I believe that I am his little child, and, you know, and I could go on about God forever. But anyway, I'm just saying that, you know, I guess the first place to start for me would be AA. And the only thing is, those people can be very combative, you know. They try to confront you about things, and I like that, you know, but sometimes it can be a little exhausting. It's the people who've been sober for multiple years that I want to talk to. I've never tried getting a sponsor. So, you know, that would be pretty cool. You know, I hate, don't knock it till you try it, right?
Right. I mean, AA's a wonderful organization. The 12 steps are powerful. I've seen them work for a lot of people. And I think AA sounds like a great idea for you. It might be a great exercise for you in that fear of people and the trust issues that you have. It might be good for you to get outside of your comfort zone in a similar way to you getting out of your house. You mentioned earlier you were afraid to go outside at one point in your life, and you forced yourself to go outside because you're like, I'm not going to be like this. Maybe I'm not going to twist your arm into going to AA, nor could I even, but it does seem like maybe a good environment for you to get serious about it and to...
Dude, I've been in treatment my whole life. I've been in and out of AA. I love AA. I was in AA when I was 15, 16, you know, it's like, it was fun, you know, and, you know, it's like, it is kind of fun going to these new meetings, meeting all these new people. It's just not something I really stuck with for very long. I think if I put more effort into it, you know, it's definitely, you get out of it what you put into it. That's definitely,
Right.
And we have no problem staying sober right now. I'm doing all the right things. I don't have cravings. I don't want to go back to dope. I don't want to drink again. You know, it's not even a problem. I've done that so many times. It's like, no, I'm trying to figure out how the fuck am I going to succeed? Because that's the end goal. I'll be high as ever when I get that diploma, or when I meet that person, or, you know, create that child. Oh, fuck.
That's
man.
right.
That's really crazy.
That's right. That's excellent motivation.
Yeah.
So, what would make this a good call? I appreciate you calling and sharing so honestly, and you've been hard on yourself. You've been very real with us on the things that go through your mind. I'm glad to hear that you responded so well to the idea of exercising positivity towards yourself, exercising self-love and self-care. I think that's going to be big for you to practice that. What else is there that you might need to vent or
Honestly,
get thoughts on?
Dude, this has been beautiful. You're a great person, and I think I've had enough.
That's understandable. You're probably a little tired after that, I'd imagine. I want to applaud you again because your story is so amazing. It's so good for you for being sober for 2 months. That's amazing, and it's so hard to do. I'm not looking to compare alcohol to other things, but like you've been on some pretty hard drugs that are very difficult to get off of, and I think it's incredible. I'm over the moon to hear that you've been sober for 2 months. That's a huge milestone. Keep it up, and if you ever want to talk again, please know that you can call anytime.
Hey man, I probably will. All
Good.
right, Julian, you have a great
Well, we'll
night
talk.
now, man.
Sounds good. Thanks for calling. Take care. Beautiful. Okay, guys, lines are opening. We're about halfway through the stream. We'll be going till for about 50 more minutes. Hello, thanks for calling.
Hello?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Hi. Can we start with your age and then a brief introduction? No names, no locations.
Yeah,
Please.
so, all right. So, yeah, I'm 24, and right now I'm going through a divorce with my wife, and we share a 3-year-old son. And just basically, in this relationship, I just been having a real hard time just cope with everything and how it's happened. It's only happened about a week ago, and yeah, it's just really tough to accept everything that's happened so far.
Well, I'm really sorry to hear about the divorce. A divorce with children is tricky. I'm really sorry to hear about that. What is on your mind specifically?
Just I'm blaming a lot of what happened on myself, because I realized I wasn't the partner that I should have been, that I could have been. I grew up with a pretty strict father, and he never really shared anything about himself with me, and his pretty much his main role raising me was just more like the disciplinary role, and I never realized how much that I carried that with me, and it sucks, but I only realize it now after everything is too late. And yeah, it's just I just wish I had a better idea of the situation. I didn't realize what was going on, and what my wife told me was that this has been happening for months, and she tried to open up to me about it. I just never gave her the time. I was just tired from work, or it was always something, it just sounded like my father. I just want to try and change now.
You want to try and do what? I'm sorry.
Sorry, I just want to try and change. I don't want my son to grow up the same way I did. I really feared my father growing up.
Right.
And it's just, yeah, I'm just really struggling right now.
So do you think the divorce was your fault?
That's how I'm feeling. I feel like, so what happens is just last fight, and usually when we fight, it's always like, I'm leaving, I'm not coming back, and that's happened, countless times between us. And it's just this time she really did it, and
So you think you were a bad partner, or you think you were a aloof partner? It sounds like you had a lot of weight on your shoulders. It sounds like you were really tired at the end of the day, and you wish you could have mustered up the energy to be more attentive to your wife's needs. Sounds like you also maybe picked up some things from the way your dad parented you, and that you're looking for ways to heal from your own childhood trauma so that you don't carry it into relationships. Is that it, or are you trying to? Of course, like I can't give you relationship advice here. We're not here to do that, but we are happy to listen to whatever it is while you vent. And if you want thoughts, we'll share thoughts. But yeah, what is it? Are you looking to salvage the marriage, or are you looking to just change so that you don't keep carrying this with you? And also, I want to hear more about the relationship, because we get a lot of people calling in here with regret over relationships and things like this and how they've behaved. And, there's two sides to every story. And I'm curious, like, what was your wife like? Was she really an ideal partner too? Was it maybe a bad relationship, an unhealthy relationship? These are the kinds of questions running through my head. So I know that was a lot. I can give it to it one at a time if that's helpful.
All right. But yeah, so I guess basically, I'm more on the path of changing. She's kind of set her boundaries on, this is it, and I'm just having trouble come to terms to accept that. But I just want to be able to have the strength and the willpower to do this on my own and live for myself, and not be dependent on her. I don't have a lot of friends. I only have one other friend besides my wife, and she was my everything. So it's just a real like gut punch. But yeah, I'm just trying to learn how to be okay in my own skin, and learn how to be my own man, and not look at how my father raised me, and try to find out my own core values.
I think that's awesome. There's a book, and I want to hear more about your story, but you're getting right to the point, which I appreciate. You're not wasting any time. Of course, like, you can feel free to share as much as you, if there's more to this. We've only been on the phone for about 5 or 6 minutes, so we're happy to listen more if there's anything else. So I'm not cutting you off by giving this book now, is what I'm trying to say. But there's a great book. It sounds like it might be good for you, called Running on Empty, Overcome Your Childhood Emotional Neglect. Have you heard of that book?
I haven't.
It's written by Jonice Webb. She's a PhD, and this is a book that comes up a lot here, and I'm putting it in the chat for you so you can read the good reads and determine if you might want to read it. It's a book about healing from emotionally unavailable parents, basically. So we do carry stuff like that with us from our childhood into adult life, and so I think it's wonderful that you really want to get to the bottom of why you are the way you are. And I don't mean that as an accusation. I mean, like, we all are the way we are. Everybody is the way they are. It's not an accusation, but it sounds like there's some specific things that you want to get to the bottom of for yourself, so that you don't, so that you can be in healthier relationships, and that you can feel better about yourself. Is that right?
Right.
So I've put this book in the chat for you. You can find it in there later, or if you've got the chat open now, feel free to open it up and look at it while we're talking. But
okay.
What do you think went wrong in your marriage? I mean, I know you said you feel like you weren't available enough, but what do you think went wrong?
Honestly, I guess just because it's so fresh, I'm still trying to, gather everything and just look at it, from a different perspective. But I just feel like there got to a certain point where the communication was really, really just basic, and it was kind of just, when are you working? How was work? We never really opened up to each other. We never shared, we never really cried together. Most of the time we were just angry at each other because of just petty stuff that we do. It was just really toxic, and I was just so comfortable in it at the time. I didn't see how bad it was, but she could see it, and it was just so devastating to me to feel it all at once. She was dealing with it for so long, and I'm just, the way I'm feeling, I feel like I just completely fucked everything up. I loved how, when things were good, I loved how we, go out together as a family, and we'd all have fun together as a family. But when things were bad, they were really bad. We did a lot of name calling. I'm pretty introverted, so it's hard for me to, even though it's anonymous, it's hard for me to kind of express myself. But there'd be times where it would get physical, and she did the last few fights. She did a pretty good number on me, and it's just, yeah. Even when that was happening, I didn't see it as something so bad that we needed to stop seeing each other. And that's, now that I'm coming to terms and realizing all that, it just makes me feel like I I don't know who I am, and I can't depend on myself, and I feel like I need to depend on others to live my own life.
You feel like you need to depend on others to live your own life. Yeah, that must feel heavy, I would imagine.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, my of course I can't fix your problems. Nobody in the chat can fix your problems. But your our problems are for us. Like we have to take our own problems on. I think it's great that you're talking about this and thinking about it the way that you are. That's why we do this stream. I think this book is going to do a lot for you in helping open up a new chapter for you, and maybe opening up some new neural pathways for reprogramming some things that you want to work on in yourself. And I think that it's great that you want that. I mean, everybody has stuff to work on. Nobody's balanced all the time. Nobody's perfect. And so I think that there's nothing to be ashamed of here. I think it's great you can identify some things you want to work on. And these seem like great things to work on. And we all have stuff from childhood too. So maybe I'm using too many words, but I'm trying to encourage you to feel safe sharing here, because you said you were introverted and having trouble expressing yourself, and I just want to encourage you to know that you can do this. That you can. Anyone can do this. Anyone can look within themselves and look for change and make good changes. And we all have good changes we can make. And so there's no shame in it, is what I'm saying. And you've got a head start because you've said a thing that not a lot of people call in and say, which is that I have identified some things in myself that I want to change, that I want to work on. And that is amazing. That's half the battle. So you want to learn to, some of the stuff you mentioned about the marriage got really basic. You said we just talked about really basic stuff. And of course, like a marriage can become that really quickly after kids. I think more people should talk about this so that it's not such a shock to new parents. It's such a shock to new parents when they have kids for the first time. It's like, wow, the marriage changed. It's like people should tell people this so that we can have better parents, so that we can have parents that actually want to have kids and are ready for what that is. I'm not saying that every marriage has to be basic after that, but a marriage becomes a lot more work after kids because everything becomes about the kids, and you have to be really intentional with things like date nights and your partner, your division of labor with your partner becomes way more intense, and again, all about the kids. And so your partner, if the relationship isn't healthy, your partner can really quickly become an adversarial figure where you're competing with them for, or you're comparing rather, like your division of labor. That happens all the time in marriages. I've seen with friends and stuff, like people saying like, "Well, yeah, I did the dishes last night," or "I'm always doing the dishes," or "I'm always with the baby," or "I'm always working," or everybody becomes this big comparison contest, and I think that this happens. This is a common thing. So maybe that's encouraging to you. I don't know, but at least you can feel better that you're not alone in this, and that a lot of people go through that. And I want to repeat, I think it's amazing that you came out of this with some things you want to work on in yourself. How amazing is that? That you're not just over here saying, "Oh, my wife, my ex, she's blown my world apart." You're not disparaging her. You're not defaming her, or this happened, and you're looking within yourself. I think that is the sign of a beautiful individual. That shows a lot of maturity on your part and a lot of initiative. And again, maybe I'm using too many words, but I'm trying to encourage you that you've got a great head start here, even though your marriage ended. But marriages end all the time, and it's not always for the worst. It doesn't have to be for the worst.
Mhm.
Your relationship was a thing for a time, for reasons you may not be able to appreciate right now. It may take some time to pass before you're able to look back on that relationship and see what it really meant for you. Um, and this is really fresh, so I'm not sure really what it is you that would make this a good call for you. I mean, it sounds like your divorce just happened, so are
Yeah.
you okay? Are you how are you feeling? And what else would be good to talk about?
I think just really I need to get on here and, just feel I can say everything without feeling judged. But it's just sorry, I lost my train of thought for a second.
No problem. Take all the time you need. We're here for you. You've called in, you've shared some heavy stuff. I mean, divorce is heavy. You've got a kid. That makes it complicated. Take your time collecting your thoughts. We're here because we want to make this a good call for you. So you're in the driver's seat. Wherever you want to go, we will listen.
I appreciate it. I guess just reflecting on everything now. I don't. I guess going back to my father. Okay, yeah, I got it back. I guess going back to my father is just he was the the provider of the family, and that's definitely the role I took on. I was at the time I was working 2 jobs, just trying to just get everything I can for my family. Whatever my wife wanted, whatever she wanted for my son, and I made my world revolved around money so much that I really don't know what brings me happiness, and I think right now is just discovering what brings me joy.
I see. Yeah, it sounds like you feel a little numb, like you got numbed out by all the focus on money.
Yeah. I was working pretty stressful jobs. I was a banquet cook, and I was doing landscaping on the side with a private company, and it was just I feel like I need to just take a step back from everything and just try to regain focus and put more energy into things that matter to me.
What kinds of things matter to you? I imagine your kids. What else? Your kid.
I think what I really I've been thinking about is my physical health. Just because of overworking and stress and stuff like that, I really ignore my physical health. So that's something I think I'm going to try to focus, put time, effort, and work in, and just just try to do something different. I feel like before I would need. It sounds kind of silly. I feel like I need permission from my wife to do things that I wanted to do. Before she'd be against certain stuff. So I'm just trying to just break that habit of just. I feel like I'm asking myself, to do what I want to do, and it just sucks because I'm my own person, but I just feel trapped.
Right. Yeah. It's hard to learn new habits after a marriage ends, especially if because there's nobody that you need to go get permission from to do things. There's nobody you need to check in with, and now you're your own person. You can go do whatever the hell you want, and that's actually a really exciting thing for you, I feel. And this puts you in a great position actually to be able to go explore some things and find out what actually makes you happy. Sounds like you weren't able to do that in the previous relationship, so there's a positive silver lining there that you can look forward to. Makes me wonder, like, do you exercise? Are there certain kinds of exercises you've always wanted to try? For some reason, I'm thinking like some Brazilian jiu-jitsu for you or something, like doing some kind of like rough workout where like if you're you want to wake yourself up, maybe doing something like that, or boxing even, something that just wake yourself up and like get punched in the face a couple times by some strangers. Might be like a fun, I don't know, maybe I'm a masochist, but I think that's like the funnest exercise. So I don't know. Maybe you're like, what are you talking about? You want me to get punched in the face?
Well, I mean, it's funny about jujitsu because that's what I was looking, into just recently. I had a friend that was in jujitsu, and he was a pretty lazy dude, and back in high school, all we used to do just smoke weed and party together, and he ended up dropping out of high school. But I ran into him the other day, and he's just like completely different, and he's just saying that he was just able to really, commit himself into jujitsu, or just something that he was able to put hard work in, and he saw results in, and that really inspired me when I saw that.
That's amazing. Oh, is that your kid I hear in the background?
Yeah.
Oh. How old is your kid?
He's about to turn 3 next month.
Amazing. So you're looking to use this as a learning opportunity, and you're looking to form some new habits. I can tell in your voice you said you're introverted, so maybe that's all I'm sensing, but I can tell that you're kind of feeling a little lost right now. I gather that from the tone of your voice and the things you've said. Just know that it'll get easier. This is really fresh for you. It will get easier, and it's normal to, especially in a divorce with a kid, especially, it's normal to feel like you don't know what tomorrow's going to look like you don't know how you're going to get to tomorrow. If you feel that way, that's normal. It might feel like a big fog you're walking through, and it really kind of is, but it will get easier, and you will learn to adjust to this new lifestyle. And I think it's really great the way that you're thinking about all this, and you're young. You got a lot of time to figure it out. I think it's amazing that it sounds like the marriage wasn't healthy. So on the bright side, I think it's great that you didn't get trapped in that relationship, because a lot of people stay together for the kids. And I personally, just my opinion, but I don't think that's a good thing to stay together for the kids. Oh, poor kiddo. If I need to let you go, I would not be offended.
I was just gonna say, I just want to just chime in real quick. I really appreciate you taking my call. I know I kind of just rambled on, but I feel a lot better just being able to get it on my chest and talk to you about these things.
Great.
So I really appreciate talking to you, Julian. I think what you're doing is amazing, and keep it up, man. I love it.
Thank you so much for calling and sharing. Call again anytime. Take care of yourself, and good luck getting punched in the face.
Sure. Thanks, man.
Good night. All right, guys. Got about 25 minutes left. Taking the next caller. Hello. Thanks for calling.
Hi, Julian?
Yes. Can we start with your
Julian.
age and then an introduction?
What's that?
Can we start with your age and then an introduction?
26. My girlfriend of 3 years, she broke up with me recently, and I'm really going through that real tough.
I see. So you got some breakup grief.
Yeah.
And you didn't want the relationship to end?
No.
That's 3 years. 3 years is a serious relationship. Why did it end? And what's hard about it? What would make this a good call?
I think she's in a relationship over my big fat balls, my hairy balls, my balls, my hairy balls.
Toast. That wasn't even a good troll. All right. Toasted. My big hairy balls. Go figure. That's on you, bro. All right, lines are opening again. Hello, thanks for calling.
Oh, hey.
Can we start with your age and then brief intro?
Yeah, I'm 22. I honestly I didn't expect to actually get on the line. I was kind of surprised, but I'm 22. I just struggle with my mental health a lot, and I feel like I'm in therapy, but there's enough like complex parts of it that I like feel like I'm never getting to the bottom of it all, or like not making progress in a lot of ways.
Okay.
And just,
why do you think that is? Maybe, do you need a new therapist? Do you like your therapist?
well, I changed therapists a few months ago and that's been like significantly better in that regard. And there's just, I don't know where to start. There's like a lot of elements, I guess, like, I've told people this story. It's like I've got like mental illness stuff I know is just genetic and lingering and gonna be a problem, but then I've got stuff I don't know if it's related to trauma, or like there's the fact that I was born with an idiopathic growth hormone deficiency, and I know growth hormone can play a role in dopamine, and there's a lot of complicated brain stuff I don't know. And I'm trying to get to the bottom of that, if that has anything to do with my depression. And I'm just feeling kind of stuck a lot.
What's the mental illness you're dealing with? Do you
sorry,
know?
I wasn't sure where to start, so I struggle. Like I'm diagnosed with generalized anxiety and major depression and ADHD. And I don't take medication for the first two, but I do take medication for ADHD.
I see. Well, and the therapy is stagnating, and you're not making progress, even with this new therapist.
I mean, yeah, I'm making some progress in certain areas. I guess I just almost don't feel like I have the energy always, like, to maintain it. I don't know. When I get, like for me, and I don't think I'm just speaking for me, I know that depression is really just a self-fulfilling prophecy, or just a big negative feedback loop where I'm not motivated to do the dishes or clean my house. And so then I don't do that, but then having a messy place I'm living in or things that are cluttered just makes me more depressed and stressed and overwhelmed. And then that makes it harder to do the other stuff I have to do. So it's almost like I feel like I have to build a momentum. Like I've been cleaning my place all day and I feel good today.
Good.
But like I have to keep that momentum to try to be happy at all. I guess a major part of it is that like I'm in college. I don't have a house, I have an apartment. I'm not bougie, but I'm in college, and I guess like with everything with the pandemic and just having some academic issues, if I would graduated on time, I would have graduated this past spring. But I'm really I'm really looking, because I got, in combination of like the pandemic and like struggling with depression, like most specifically like when related to school, I ended up getting suspended for a semester. So at this point, I'm not going to graduate until spring 2024.
Okay, had a setback.
And so I just feel like unfulfilled is what I'm realizing. Like where I'm at, because I know what I want to do. It was academic suspension, because I got I tested positive for COVID in the Sunday before the fall semester started in 2020.
Goodness.
And then I don't know if it was just me being really depressed, or if it was like more long-term symptoms from COVID, but I just ended up completely failing that semester and getting suspended. But I got reinstated, and I had a really good fall semester this past fall, and then I did really not well this past spring. I didn't even get so into the school part, honestly.
like I don't, like my hobbies and interests are not things that I'm in the point in my life I can really like pursue or like take advantage of. And so like there's things like I really love woodworking, and I'm really into like hiking and camping and like just like things like that. But like specifically like when it comes to like woodworking or like a lot of like computer, because I'm studying computer science. I'm really into like that stuff. So if there's like a cool computer idea or a project or something, I don't have the money for that or the means for that, or like with woodworking, I have an apartment, so it's not like I can set up like a wood shop and have like what I really want. I would have a good setup if I went to school, like where my parents live, because my dad is a real like woodworking carpenter kind of guy. Like
Right.
he built like half the house that I grew up in. He added
Wow.
on to that. So I've grown up doing that, and it's something I haven't been able to really pursue since I was in high school. And I guess like right at the beginning of college, I had I don't know, like my therapist said she considered them traumatic events, but like not PTSD level trauma, but like still considered traumatic, I guess. I had a couple things like right before and right in my first semester of college, and I guess I don't know how much those have like to do with like how much those are weighing or on me or what. I guess what it is with therapy, and you probably get the sense from how much I've been talking and you haven't, that I feel like I'm just spinning my wheels because I have so much to try to cover that I'm never making enough ground on any of it.
Yeah, you're in a season where you're trying to make sense of a lot, and you've got some big goals, it sounds like. I mean, I hear you that you have some things that bring you joy, like woodworking, that you can't practically exercise right now. Skills you can't practically exercise because you don't have a wood shop. And so it makes me wonder, with the depression and stuff, it makes me wonder, I mean, to put it simply, you've got some goals that you're working towards. It sounds like you want a wood shop. It sounds like maybe, or at least I wonder if you get into these negativity loops where you're depressed because you don't have the things you wish you had yet, and you're young. So I mean, no, we're not all born with the things that we want. We have to work for them, of course. But I wonder if you get stuck in these negativity loops where it's like the depression is fueled by some frustration of where you are in life, and then it just feeds itself. It just keeps going around and around. I wonder if you think that could be the case.
Wait, I'm sorry. What are you saying?
Like maybe you get stuck because you have some goals that you're working towards. And I'm not saying you're depressed because you don't have a wood shop. I want to be very clear. I mean, if you have depression, you have depression. But I'm saying I wonder if you would feel better working towards those goals. I wonder if working towards those goals and seeing some progress along the way might help the depression, might help you. I mean, you said you felt, I believe you said this earlier, that you felt better when you got certain things done, that you would have a good day. Maybe, I apologize if I'm conflating this from another call. I may be, but was it you that said that you were having a good day because you actually got some stuff done?
I said like the example, like I guess like, well, maybe I don't think I said that a minute ago. I said like in the opposite like of that example. I guess I had said like when I don't get things done, it makes it harder to be motivated to get the other things done. And it
right. Okay.
But whoever said that also completely spot on.
Right. So how would it feel if do you think it would help the depression? This is my question. Maybe I'm not asking it clearly enough. Do you think it would help the depression if you were able to work towards some big goals with some small steps that you could see progress on in real time? And do you think that would help your overall situation? Do you think that would help the anxiety? Do you think it would help maybe some depression lift?
Yeah, honestly, yeah. I mean, yeah, I feel like I'm a pretty goal-oriented person, and
Okay.
I feel good when I'm working towards something. So I think, like, I mean, yeah, I think that for sure. Crap, I had a train of thought after that. But
It's okay. Take your time.
oh yeah, I was gonna say it's just like it's hard to like find those goals that are like attainably like something I can work towards in like things
Right.
like that, because yeah, I don't. It's because like with Java, like I've got most of the tools I need. Like I could do most of what I need with what I've got. It's not like my goal ideal in the end scenario, but it's just about having like a space to do that in, like
Right.
just a garage or a shed or something like that. But
Right.
that was like an example, I guess. I have like there's like I mean there's other like goals I could be working towards, I guess.
So I want to be really careful. I mean, of course, like you if you're struggling with clinical depression and anxiety and ADHD, you know, that is a journey that you'll be working on in your own work in therapy and stuff. And we can talk more about the therapy if you want, if you think that'd be helpful. I mean, there may be reasons why the therapy is stagnating. Maybe you need a different therapist. That's probably what's happening if your therapy is not working. There's a lot more bad therapists than there are good ones. It's taken me long amounts of time to find the right fit before. So it could just be that you need a new therapist. But I'm going to zero in on the habits thing and the goals thing, because I think that, because you said that you do feel better when you feel like you're working towards something and you can see some results. And there's a book that we talk a lot about here called Atomic Habits. Have you heard us talk about that book here?
No, this is actually the first time I watch your channel. Been a fan for a long time, but this is the first time I've seen the anonymous thing pop up in my
Oh, cool.
recommended.
Well, thanks for calling tonight. I'm glad that you called in. This book, Atomic Habits, was written by James Clear. It's called Atomic Habits, an easy and proven way to build good habits and break bad ones. Now, this is easily the most popular book we've ever talked about on this stream. This book has like 30,000 something reviews on Goodreads. A popular book gets like 5,000. This one has 30,000, and they've sold like 1,000,000 something copies. I'm putting this in the chat for you because this is a really powerful book, and it's people in the Anonymous Live community love it. Atomic Habits. I'm putting this in the chat for you. And I really want you to check this out, because if you're stuck, if you're feeling stuck, you know, maybe some new perspective on life might be all you need to just get started in a different direction, to just start growing towards a different direction. And of course, to say it again, I know I'm repeating myself, but you know, the therapy is so important for the other stuff, the clinical depression and the anxiety. Really, really important that you find a therapist that will get to the bottom of those things with you. I don't know what that means for you. I don't know you, of course, but finding a good therapist can take a long time, and you might ask your current therapist some direct questions like, what kinds of things are we going to do? What tools do you have to help me get through this depression and anxiety, and to cope with my ADHD? What tools do you have to help me do that? You might ask some real direct questions like that to really get to see how they respond, and to see if they feel like they're squirming, or if they come out with a really concise answer and they're like, actually, maybe they have a great answer. Maybe they're like, well, it's actually normal to stagnate here at this part of your work. I'm working on we're on like week 5 of a 12-week process. I'm doing, you know, maybe they have some good answer for why it feels like you're stagnating, but I don't want you to waste time and money in therapy. I mean, like that's discouraging and it's expensive. So
I will say,
you know,
I am blessed to have, I have a pretty big network that my insurance covers, like, and I'm able to do telehealth. So money is huge in that regard, which it would be if I didn't.
It's still time, though.
End up just paying a copay. But no, I'd say I have a good therapist. He helped me with a lot of stuff. I was really stagnant on with my last therapist. And I would just say it just, I guess for me, it's not at my therapist. It's for me. It just feels like I have too much to cover.
Right.
Because,
LC in the chat says to you, in my experience, depression will make us think that things are not achievable. Small steps are everything. And I think that's totally right. That's why I'm recommending Atomic Habits. And I think that, if you're feeling stuck and you need a new lease on life, maybe it's as simple as just finding that motivation to work towards the things it is that you want that will bring you joy. It sounds like you're not there yet, and you've got some things to work on. And so I hope that Atomic Habits is a good book for you. I hope you find that book as valuable as myself and others here have. And I'm wondering if there's anything else that would be good to talk about tonight. We want to make this a good call for you, so floor is yours. We've got about 10 minutes left in this stream.
I mean, hey, I was actually going to have to go in about the same time, so that'll work out. I mean, I guess I'd just say, I appreciate it. I will check that book out, because, you talk about being stuck. I mean, this has been I guess the reason I brought up the growth hormone deficiency part is that it was something I was treated for, and within 6 months of stopping it is about when I can say my depression started, and I would say I'm stuck. So I'm going to check that book out, because I've felt in about this place or worse. That was for the last 5 years, honestly. And I know most people would at that point would probably be like, "Shit, dude, take some medication or something." Or I don't know though. I'm in a long-term relationship that I'm looking to get engaged soon. I don't want to take. I know this sounds silly to people outside in, but I don't want to take SSRIs. Because I want to be able to have sex reliably. Because to be honest, that would be more of a blow to my confidence than I think the drugs would help. Because that's something I've dealt with, and this is something I think nobody talks about enough or takes seriously enough, is that I've really struggled with vaping and nicotine addiction, to the point that nicotine can actually give you ED. And
right.
I just think, people I can't go through that again, truthfully, is the thing. So I understand that people would probably say I should try medication, but I don't. And it gets complicated when you take stimulants, because you have to get the dosage right, so you don't get serotonin syndrome and stuff. I think don't quote me on that, but I guess it's just that was a major thing that affected me, and I'm not going to be able to take SSRIs unless I get to a point in my life where I'm 25 and I'm about to watch the rest of my life pass me by. But at this point, I'm just trying to work on it and go to therapy.
I think that's great. I say keep up the therapy. Make sure that it sounds like you do like your therapist, but I would say remain, especially with a therapist, just always don't remain what's the best word to use? Remain open-minded and have a good sense of direction for where you need to go. And if your therapist is not adding up, if your therapist is just be honest with yourself. I guess what I'm saying about. Because I know it's a lot of work to go find a new therapist, but that's not a good reason to stay with somebody who's not actually helping. So if they're not helping, move on and don't waste any time in therapy, because the longer you're in sessions with a bad therapist or a therapist who cannot help you, you are emboldening the problem. You're making it harder for yourself to actually achieve any growth, because you're exercising with nothing. You know, you're like you're delaying the progress, and it's like they can callous the healing process so that it makes it harder. So make sure.
I couldn't agree with you more. I'm glad you say things like this, like on stream. I was watching a case study video earlier about like a really harmful therapeutic relationship. So yeah, like I really appreciate it, man.
Well, I appreciate you sharing like you did. Thank you so much for calling in. I hope you get the value out of Atomic Habits that we all have, and just know that you can call again anytime.
All right. Thank you so much.
Take care of yourself. Good night. Okay, everybody. What a beautiful stream. Thank you guys so much in the chat for being here and for sharing with the callers. You guys are awesome. I'm just finishing up a couple things here, and then we're going to wind down the stream. Huge thank you to our mods tonight. Tonight we had, I believe it was did I see Easy Cheesy in here earlier? I'm not sure if it's still here, but I know Offcore's here. Offcore's been fighting some pretty serious trolls. The trolls are rampant tonight. Thank you, Offcore. Thank you, Easy Cheesy. You guys are amazing. We love our mods for keeping us on track here. And we have very good mods here. Our mods are the best, are they not? A round of applause for our mods. Thank you guys so much. We are now 2 times a week on Anonymous Live, at least for the time being. We have done away with Sundays. I need my Sunday nights back to work on some things. Way more exciting than it sounds. I'm just making it sound weird. I gotta work on some things. Just don't worry about it. But yeah, the Sunday nights are now discontinued for the time being, so we will be back here Thursday night at 10 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Pacific, and I will be doing a short stream tomorrow as well in the afternoon. So it'll be tomorrow we do a fun stream on Wednesdays. So 3 p.m. Central, that's 4 p.m. Eastern, 1 p.m. Pacific tomorrow. Come back here and we'll have some fun, and we will see you on Thursday. And thanks again for everybody, to everybody for all the thoughts and just for listening. I love these streams. These are the highlight of my week, and I really look forward to Thursday. I will see you guys then. Have a great night, everybody. Take care.